Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, August 6th. Over the next few days, we will continue to have showers and thunderstorms up north across Idaho, even in areas of our large fires in central Idaho, especially today and tomorrow. We could still see some lingering showers Tuesday morning in central Idaho before the activity finally shifts east into eastern Idaho and Wyoming with drier conditions over the remainder of the geographic area. We will also see an increase in winds starting today down south over the Arizona Strip and southern Utah, and then winds will increase in speed and aerial coverage further on Monday and Tuesday over parts of southern and eastern areas. We'll also see winds kick up on Monday along parts of the Sierra Front. This could increase our fire potential in the south as conditions dry out, especially in the lower elevation grasses. Sagebrush is still fuel moisture is still coming down. 100-hour dead fuel moisture is still on its way down from the monsoon push we saw last week. However, we will see those grasses drying out very quickly with the warmer and drier conditions and the increase in wind. Looking at precipitation over the last 24 hours, we did see scattered thunderstorms over central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming, and also over far southern Idaho, northern Nevada, and northern Utah. We saw scattered amounts of precipitation. Some areas saw over a quarter or over a third of an inch over parts of central Idaho and in southern Idaho and northeast Nevada. Other areas just saw an increase in humidity or very light end wetting rains or a few hundredths. So definitely spotty precipitation with some of the heavier precipitation. We are also seeing some morning thunderstorms already developed over parts of central Idaho and over southern Idaho. Great Basin fire activity yesterday was light, with 8 new fires reported for 59 acres and no growth on our large fires, largely due to the increase in humidity and the showers and thunderstorms we saw yesterday. Looking at our smoke forecast, we are getting some hazy conditions over western areas of the Great Basin from smoke coming down from the north. Obviously in Idaho, in areas near the fires, is where we'll see some smoke impacts as well, and then could see some higher hazy smoke coming off of some California fires in southern areas of the Great Basin. Over the last 7 to 14 days with the monsoon push, we did see above normal precipitation across much of eastern Nevada into Utah and even over southern and eastern Idaho and Wyoming. This does not take into account the precipitation we saw yesterday, so certainly central Idaho will start to see that increase in precipitation showing up on the maps here in the next couple of days. Some holes, though, even in the south, our southeast Utah and parts of the eastern areas of the Arizona Strip didn't quite see as much precipitation as areas further west. Looking at our current ERCs, they have certainly declined significantly across the Great Basin, but looking at southern areas, they did decline significantly, but have also rebounded now to near normal over parts of the Arizona Strip and southern Utah in the lower elevations. So these ERCs will continue to increase, and again, grasses dry out obviously quite a bit quicker, so we will see possibly some increased fire potential as the winds pick up, especially with our recent showers and thunderstorms. We could certainly see the likelihood of holdovers popping up as the winds increase going towards the early portion of the week. Our satellite loop from this morning still shows high pressure elongated across the southern tier of the U.S., dominating the region, with an area of low pressure moving across the Pacific Northwest into Idaho. This will continue to trigger showers and thunderstorms, and we will have a secondary area of low pressure moving through Monday, Tuesday, which again will keep showers and thunderstorms and higher humidities up north and keep drier conditions and windy conditions down south. So for today, again, showers and thunderstorms in some of the same areas we saw yesterday, probably a near repeat in parts of central Idaho, a little bit drier in northern Nevada. Significant fire potential remains low in southern or northern and eastern areas and is drying out over western and southern areas. Relative humidity already dropped in southern areas and is in the 5 to 10% range in much of the far south and around 12 or 13% in far western areas. As you can see up north, relative humidity throughout the day will only drop to between 30 and 40% after being above 80 or 90% this morning. Wind gusts today will start increasing over southern areas, but again, we're still in the process of drying out, so no high risk for today. You can see the gradual drying trend. For Monday, that drier air pushes in from the west, and again, continues to see drying over western and southern areas for low to moderate fire potential. Still showers and thunderstorms as this area of low pressure moves into the Pacific Northwest again on Monday in Idaho. Relative humidity, very similar to what we'll see today. Winds increase in strength over southern areas on Monday. So again, we will be watching that. We do not have high risk yet. Still thinking we still need some drying in the far south, but it will be something we'll be watching, especially for the lower elevations. And then obviously with the increase in winds and the dry conditions, the likelihood of holdovers increases. Still another day of higher humidity and showers and thunderstorms up north, so we will see a little bit more northwest wind, so a little bit more breezy conditions, even outside of the gusty outflow winds from thunderstorms. But again, with the higher humidity and the moisture in place, that will only really be an impact for our large fires to monitor. On Tuesday, very similar picture in the south, dry conditions. However, that moisture starts to really track eastward on Tuesday. So aside for possibly some morning thunderstorms or showers in central Idaho, much of that activity will likely move into eastern Idaho and Wyoming. We will still see gradual drying again over western and southern areas, and we did add high risk for Tuesday, again, as those winds really increase a little bit more in aerial coverage and speed, and we see more drying. Relative humidity picture doesn't change a whole lot. Driest, obviously, over western and southern areas, and then we will see gusty winds over southern and eastern areas of Utah, especially with those downslope northwest winds. So again, increasing the likelihood of holdovers. Forecast 3-day precipitation. Obviously, we will see that precipitation in the north, and it will be fairly spotty. Some areas will be getting those 1/4 inch to over a 1/3 inch of rainfall. Some areas only seeing a few hundredths. But certainly the higher humidity is widespread in the north, which is helping our large fire situation. As we move into the middle of the week, we will see possibly moisture starting to move in from the south, another push of monsoon moisture. There's also remnants of a tropical feature off the Baja coast. So again, could see some moisture and showers and thunderstorms moving back into the north. But right now, models are kind of holding off on that really good northward push. So still looking at low to moderate fire potential, and you'll notice more drying finally by midweek happening across Idaho, as we will lose those showers and thunderstorms, and relative humidity will be on the decrease. Looking at Friday and Saturday, probably a better chance of some moisture moving up into Utah and the Arizona Strip, so we'll continue to monitor that, and we could see a decrease in fire potential again, depending on the amount of moisture. And looking at the 7-day total forecast, so again, you can see that precipitation potentially returning to parts of eastern areas of the Great Basin going into later next week with the next push of the monsoon. But looking at amounts, right now it's not looking overly impressive, so it might be more a mix of wet and dry storms, and we'll continue to monitor that. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from August 13th through the 19th, finally shows more of a drier regime for the northern areas after trying to hold on to some above normal precipitation. But it does look like the middle of the month will be more on the dry side for the north. And again, we could see some monsoon moisture continuing to push into eastern areas, but right now the moisture isn't overly impressive. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.